All right, what about this? Because I've got an angle, actually. Like, it is sort of true. We did... Now that we've had the extra week, we did all slightly overreact to the Rogue start. The real reason we all overreacted was this. It's because normally they only lose 4 or 5 games in an entire split, and they normally start every split amazingly and like dominate it, blah, blah, blah. So because they lost the 2 games, right, everyone went mad. But if you look at it now, right, I will say, as I said earlier, they should technically have a loss against Mad Lions. So really they should be 2-3, right? But it actually also turns out Mad Lions is really good. So if you look at it, right, even if you say they took the loss to Mad Lions, the only losses would be Fnatic, G2, Mad Lions, right? Everyone else they've beaten. And if you look who else they have to play, aside from XL, which is their next game, it's just all the shit teams after that. So even if they lose to XL, by the way, if they beat the bottom teams, they're actually not that far off the pace, mate. They're going to just be like the 4th best team or something. Like they're going to actually be right in the place they need to be. Now, I will say though, here's the problem. That's all a great argument as to why, like, oh, they're not that far off. But if you're actually watching the games, though, they're clearly not as good as an XL, for example, right now. Like they don't look as clean. They still look like they lack a little bit of spirit to me. The fucking Rogue team, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue looks weird for sure, and it seems like Malrong is just a completely different player than last split. I mean, it just you don't see any of that real like aggression or anything. And to me, the biggest issue with their gameplay is that it doesn't seem like there's any like cohesion. It seems like there's breaks between what people want to do. Like you hear the way Trimby talks about the game, and then you see the way that they draft for Trimby, and it's like, are you actually getting what you want to play in game? That's one of the things that I'm just, constantly considering. Like, are they actually able to get like everyone on the same page and make everyone happy within the team, or are the continued losses starting to actually pile up and affect this team? You know, do the players actually believe, oh man, like we can't win? You know, like we can't really win. Like maybe if like other teams fail, we could win, but we still have so many problems. Are those problems too much to overcome? And yeah, I don't really know. It feels like, you know, everyone talked about Malrong a certain way. You heard Olyoya's interview. You heard pretty much every coach, even us on the show. Everyone was saying, hey, like the way Malrong jungles, it's not long-term going to actually be
Oh, mate, a lot of people, if anyone doesn't know, obviously some people just only watch casually, right? A lot of people might not know. When we were talking about, it was actually even about after they won that upper bracket series in the playoffs. Dude, people were really upset with like our characterization of Malrong. Like when I said something like, you know, he could be like, if you put him on like a bottom 4 team or whatever, he'd do nothing. These would all be ints. Dude, people were getting mega upset. Like, because they were using the logic, I get it, of like, but if the team is on top and he is actually doing well in the team and they are winning, then he must be the best jungler. It's like, no, that style, like he hasn't I always put it like this, right? He hasn't just reinvented jungling, has he? Like, it's not like everyone else in the world's like, but what is he doing? Like some old school diamond proc shit or something. Like, he's just gambling. And the problem is when you gamble like that, it can't work forever. In the long run, the house wins, as it were, you know, like the universe. You can't just get every gamble in off at like level 3. If you could, it'd be a different fucking world for junglers.
Yeah, definitely. And just, there's a reason why every jungle just starts farming more and being more efficient as their career goes on, because you start getting punished for these types of things. And once people have identified the way that you're playing and they're just not dying to your ganks, you're just down 20, 30 CS every game. And then that just transfers into everything else. Then you can't contest the objectives, you can't fight. But sure, if you're getting all these ganks off, it actually looks amazing. I don't know. For me, I think that Malrong, he's been figured out, and people just, they know to respect him more now, and, you know, not value if his camps are up on the other side of the map. And they're just going to force him into actually being an efficient jungler, and he's going to actually have to pick his timings a lot more deliberately instead of, you know, just waiting for action to happen the way that he was before. Also, I think that people in general also play better in summer. I mean, when you've been with your team for a year, you know, you understand the game more. You're more in tune with like what the meta is, and obviously you have big changes in each off season. So once you actually get to the point where you are playing with, you know, your team and everyone is cohesive and they track the enemy jungle, you know what everyone does, these types of players generally do not end up succeeding. And the teams that actually are able to figure out how to actively use their jungler as a piece of the team, like what it appears XL are doing, those teams normally always end up winning out.
I think people sometimes take, like, I'll give you a quick side analogy, right? You know the old school, I mean, we're going back now, like season bloody 7 or something. You know the old, like, fucking Gigabyte Marines teams that did all those, like, crazy, like,
Levi.
fucking lane swaps and, like, super aggro dives early in the game and champion picks that no one picked at the time, right? Because I praise teams like that, because in my opinion, what that team's identified, whether this is true or not, is like, well, we have no chance to actually, like, straight up beat, like, the best Korean team. So why don't we just try something super zany and make it, like, super high variance? The fact I think people misunderstand there is that usually is only a great approach on strategy if, like I say, it's your only chance to win. Like, you're such an underdog. If you're one of the top players and top teams, you very rarely want to, like, embrace variance like that. Because I want to ask you about this, because people who are fans aren't going to get this, right? They're going to think of all the times that it could work if you tried, like, a really aggressive gank early in a game. Like, imagine if you get this kill onto this player and then he's ahead in, like, items. Like, it all sounds great, right? But the part they always forget is this, Tom. Imagine it just goes the worst it can go. You die, you burn summoners, you're behind on your path in, maybe the kill even goes to the enemy jungler, right? Now for the rest of the game, you're still the jungler, remember? You're not just a fan watching the game. Like, enjoy playing the rest of that game out. What if your whole fucking comp was based on the idea you had to have, like, fucking pressure, like you had to be able to invade them or something? Like, you're just done. Like, people don't realize how hard it is to play 20 more minutes after you've fucked up the first 5, as it were. Like, that takes a lot of mental fortitude, guys. Like, I've seen tons of pro junglers just sink when those early plays go wrong, especially, by the way, if it's one where you, like, need a teammate's help and they flob it or they misexecute or they just fucking abandon you. Like, that's really hard to come back from. I can see why people don't play so aggressively. There's a reason.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. And then also people get smarter. If you're known for not clearing your camps efficiently, then people are going to go into your jungle and see, like, oh, wait, okay, so he has to be bot because his camps are up. And then they're just going to take your fucking camps. And then now you're going to be even more than 20 CS behind. It's not going to be like, oh, I just lost out because, you know, I went bot lane and I wasn't clearing my camps when he was clearing his camps. What it ends up being is, oh, he got his camps and my camps. Oh, I actually can't just fucking play the game. Like, I am just doomed for the rest of the game because of this. And teams are smarter now than they used to be. They can just, that's the reason why you never see anyone actually playing like this. They know, like, once you're behind, that you can't take any even fight. So they'll just play the even number game. They're going to invade they're going to make every little thing a mini objective. Your Raptor respawn is going to be a mini objective. Your red buff, your blue buff, all these are going to just end up getting invaded and you just end up getting fucked. So yeah, I mean, I just think that Malrong he has 2 different paths. Either he's going to have to temper down the aggression and up the efficiency so that he's able to actually be relevant in games where the enemy team isn't inting, or he's just going to look terrible. Like, those are the 2 options, I think.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.